Welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic on this Saturday night to kick off, like I said in that little preview there, another big weekend of professional wrestling action. Tonight we have TNA Rebellion to talk about, AEW Collision, and AEW Rampage, a special Saturday night episode of Rampage. Like I said, a lot of pro wrestling to talk about. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. Talk about TNA Rebellion live on pay-per-view tonight. But we started off with the countdown to Rebellion, which was available on all TNA digital platforms, and it was also available for free on TNA Plus as well. We started off with 6-man tag team action. ABC, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay teaming with Leon Slater, and they defeat the Rascals, Zachary Wentz, Trey Miguel, and Myron Reed. The TNA Digital Media Championship was on the line. We have Crazy Steve taking on Laredo Kid, which I admit for this one I was wrong this morning on Good Morning Wrestling Fans, but Crazy Steve gonna retain the title in this one, retain the championship, but we saw a new champion crowned, Laredo Kid defeating Crazy Steve to become the new TNA Digital Media Champion. Pretty good match too, fun match. I recommend, if you did not see the countdown to Rebellion, check that out. Like I said, you on TNA Plus, of course, but also I believe it's on TNA's YouTube and other social media as well. And the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships are on the line. Spitfire, Jody Threat, and Danny Luna with Lars Frederiksen from Rampage, who is a pretty big pro wrestling fan. Sorry about that. Just a second. And they're taking on the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Decay, Rosemary, and Havoc. Pretty good match here. And we have Jody Threat and Danny Luna retaining the Knockouts Tag Team titles. And then after the match, they celebrate with Lars Frederiksen. And then we get some protesters coming out to the ring to protest the X Division Championship match. Mustafa Ali having his supporters come out protesting the match, saying Jake something does not belong in the X Division, going with the storyline on Impact as of late, where Mustafa Ali has been saying Jake something is too big for the X Division. And then we get Cody Deaner out, and he asks the fans there if he wants them to let him continue to protest and hold up the show. And then he asks them if he wants them to get him out there and so they can get the show started. And he gets them out there. And then it's time to go live for TNA Rebellion, live from Las Vegas, Nevada at the Palms. Our commentators for tonight, Tom Hannafan and the Drama King Matthew Raywalt. And that match is what's starting us off tonight for the TNA X Division Championship. Mustafa Ali defending against Jake something. Good opening match here, what you would expect from a TNA X Division match. But it is Ali holding the bottom rope to get the win, 11 minutes, 38 seconds, defeating Jake Something, retaining the X Division Championship. Like I said, good opening match. Jake Something looked good in this one. Ali, though, retaining. I'll give this one 3.5 out of 5 ring bells. Good match, though. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen Rebellion yet. Next up, we have Rich Swann taking on Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry comes out, his entrance video, same theme song, everything. Say his name and he'll appear. I believe in Joe Hendry. But it's edited or photo, video shopped, whatever, to look like Rich Swann and AJ Francis are in the video doing all the Joe Hendry dances. And pretty good match here. And there's a buddy of AJ Francis who is in the corner of Rich Swann taking on Joe Hendry tonight. And acts like they're going to get into it. This Merriman gets over the barricade, the guardrail, gets in the ring. Looks like they're about to go at it, him and AJ Francis, but then attacks Joe Hendry. Rich Swann gets the win, 7 minutes, 34 seconds. Not bad match. I'll give this one 3 out of 5 ring bells. Next on Rebellion is Full Metal Mayhem. Frankie Kazarian and Eric Young. Really good match. Of course, this is a TLC match, but unlike most Full Metal Mayhem matches, where it's a regular ladder match, climb up, grab the title, this is no title on the line, so it is just pinfall and submission. Good match here. Thumbtacks are involved, and Kazarian, small cut on his elbow, but the finish, Frankie Kazarian going for the flux capacitor from the top rope through a table, and table does not break good at all, just the side of it. Eric Young landing right on his head through the table, and his head split wide open. It was pretty nasty, and luckily that was the finish. Was it planned to be the finish? I would say it probably was, but they had to hurry up and get in there and check on Eric Young right away. Just a lot of blood. Was just what looked like a nasty gash on the head of Eric Young. Frankie Kazarian pins him, gets the win. 14 minutes, 27 seconds. As of right now, haven't seen any updates on the condition of Eric Young just yet. Hopefully he is doing well, or hope so. So maybe sometime later tonight or tomorrow might get some updates on the condition of Eric Young. And next up we see Steve Maclin make his way out to the ring, and he says he was offered a new contract from TNA management, and he says he has demands. He says he wants to be there at Rebellion. He wants a match. And then we get the TNA Director of Authority, Santino Marella, and he says there's somebody else that he just signed today, and they want to have a match too. And then it is making his return to TNA, Mike Santana. former LAX member in TNA, most recently part of Proud and Powerful in AEW. We get an impromptu matchup. Steve Maclin and Mike Santana. Pretty good match here. Santana getting a pretty good pop, making his return to TNA tonight. Santana getting the win, 8 minutes, 12 seconds. I'll give this one 3.5 out of 5 ring bells. And the TNA World Tag Team Championships are on the line next. Speedball Mountain, the team of Speedball, Mike Bailey and Trent Seven, taking on the champions, The System, Eddie Edwards, and the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, along with Alicia Edwards in their corner. Good match, but it is Eddie Edwards pinning Trent Seven in this one. 12 minutes, 57 seconds. The System retains the TNA World Tag Team titles. I'll give this one maybe 3 out of 5 ring bells. Next, Last Man Standing. And I was wrong, actually. I think this is the match we saw the thumbtack spot in. I apologize for that. But Hammerstone taking on the walking weapon Josh Alexander as of late on Impact. Hammerstone's been wearing the headgear of Josh Alexander around his bicep. And this is another pretty brutal, hardcore match. Like I said, the thumbtacks are involved. And they had the runway ramp going right to the ring. And they brawl out there. And to finish these, Josh Alexander hit the C4 spike on the stage to get the win. He is the last man standing at 19 minutes 57 seconds. Really good match. I wouldn't be surprised if this is not the end of the feud. If it continues, I wouldn't mind Josh Alexander and Hammerstone. Put those two in there. You know you're going to have a grueling, brutal match. Big fan of both guys. So, definitely wouldn't mind seeing more matches between those two. The TNA Knockouts World Championship on the line. We have the champion Jordynne Grace defending against Steph DeLander. And since Matt Cardona suffering the injury, not able to be in her corner, but instead she has the good hands in her corner tonight. And of course they get involved, they interfere in the match, and then the lights go out, come back on, PCO there to help out Jordynne Grace. And the lights go out again, they come back on, and then we see another return to TNA. Sami Callihan making his way back to TNA, helping Jordynne Grace in this one. 13 minutes, 18 seconds. Good match. I'll give this one good match, but I thought the finish wasn't bad, but I just thought maybe kind of a little overbooked. Yeah, the good hands getting involved, then PCO, Sami Callihan, and just, like I said, not a bad match, but I'll give it 3 out of 5 ring bells. Now it is time for the main event of the Rebellion pay-per-view, the TNA World Championship on the line. The World Champion Moose defending against the Wanted Man Nick Nemeth. Really good match. I definitely enjoyed the main event. Moose retaining And also in the front row was Ryan Nemeth, the brother of Nick Nemeth, and their father. The System ended up getting kicked out, banned from ringside, but Moose hits a spear, gets the win, 17 minutes, 10 seconds. System comes out to celebrate, and then on the screen, that video we saw the other day on Impact about Lights Out, and once again, another return to TNA tonight. And I have to admit, it's one that I wasn't expecting. It was a surprise to me. I don't know if anybody else expected it or not, but we see the return to TNA wrestling of Broken Matt Hardy. He appears in the ring and delete. And he's back in TNA. I'm guessing he's staying around, at least for a little bit anyway. And the reason I said I wasn't expecting this, if you listen to his podcast, The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, he has been talking recently about his AEW contract expiring, being a free agent, and the recent episode, he's even talked about he has a contract offer from AEW. Also, he even said that he's been in talks with WWE. So I was thinking, could possibly stay with AEW, or who knows, could possibly even go back to WWE once again. Because that's another thing he even mentioned with these teases of Bo Dallas, the Cloudy thing, and maybe even forming the Wyatt Six, which was talked about when Bray Wyatt came back, was doing the White Rabbit thing, but never really was able to work out, unfortunately, due to his passing. But so he kind of made it sound like he could go to AEW or stay with AEW or return to WWE, or he did say explore other options, but he did say that he wasn't really going to sign a contract with anybody right now. So this deal with TNA could be per appearance. I wouldn't be surprised. But as of right now, Broken Matt Hardy back in TNA. And another thing on there, he did say he wanted to be Broken Matt Hardy again. And of course, the last time Matt Hardy and his brother Jeff were in TNA, it didn't really end too well with Anthem, but maybe things will be different this time. Speaking of Jeff Hardy, though, I'm not sure how much of his contract in AEW is left, but definitely interested to see what is going to happen next. He did pick up the TNA World title. Could we possibly see a feud for that world title, Matt Hardy and Moose? I wouldn't mind seeing it. I would say it probably could be possible. And like I said, not sure exactly how long Matt Hardy will be sticking around in TNA this time. But hey, it's pro wrestling. You never know. Never say never. And he's back in TNA for now anyway. And now let's go over to TNT. But first, overall, my rating for Rebellion. Good, solid pay-per-view. I don't know if I would say real spectacular, real great, but it was definitely a good one. I'd If you missed it, I'd recommend watching it, checking it out, definitely. Overall rating, I'd have to say 8.5 out of 10 ring bells for this one. Very solid show, though. But like I said, I would recommend it. Check it out. The replay either on TNA Plus if you have a subscription, which I recommend trying out if you haven't checked it out yet. Even if you just get it for a month, check it out. And Triller, and I guess you can order it on YouTube too. So that was TNA Rebellion, and now we go on over to TNT for AEW Saturday Collision, which was live at the Peoria Civic Center in Peoria, Illinois. And we have trios match. The AEW TNT champion, the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland, teaming with Eddie Kingston and the Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe. They defeated the team of Top Flight and Action Andretti. 12 minutes, 10 seconds. Powerhouse Hobbs was in action, defeated CJ Esparza. Hope I'm not saying that too wrong. 1 minute, 18 seconds. And then the Guns, with Switchblade Jay White in their corner, defeated the Acclaimed. And tomorrow, on 0 hour before Dynasty, they're going to have a trios match for both the AEW Trios Championships and the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championships. Both sets of titles on the line. That's on 0 hour before the Dynasty pay-per-view. Also, we have the Blackpool Combat Club, the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, and Claudio Castagnoli. They defeat the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher in a bunkhouse brawl match. Definitely enjoyed this one. This one was a fun match. 16 minutes, 3 seconds. And also, well, I'll get to that in a little bit. Going out of order here. But then we have Sky Blue defeating Legit Layla Hirsch. 5 minutes, 6 seconds. Pac teaming with FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, defeating the Elite, Kazuchika Okada, and the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. 22 minutes, 15 seconds. One very good main event. Good episode of Collision, but the AEW action is not done yet. I forgot to mention, like I usually do, the commentators, Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness for both shows. And now we continue to Rampage, and we start off with the high-flying 420 four-way elimination match. That's kind of a tongue twister there. I hope I said it right. I think I did. And we have Rob Van Dam getting the win in this one over Isaiah Cassidy, Commander, and Big Shotty Lee Johnson, down to RVD and Commander. Fun match. Definitely recommend it if you haven't seen this one yet. 12 minutes, 31 seconds. Van Dam gets the win. Then women's action, Yuka Sakazaki defeats Emi Sakura. 9 minutes, 31 seconds. And then we see a Rampage exclusive, which was taped Wednesday night, where Daniel Garcia comes out, starts talking about everything that has happened to him in the last year. Kind of sounds like he's going to announce his retirement. And then Ruby Soho comes out, announces she is pregnant. So congratulations to Daniel Garcia and Ruby Soho. And the main event, or I forgot, as Mark Henry would say, it's time for the main event. Kyle O'Reilly, Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, and Rocky Romero take on the Undisputed Kingdom, Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. 12 minutes, 9 seconds. Kyle O'Reilly gained the win, gets on the mic, says tomorrow gonna rip Roderick Strong's arms off, one of them anyway, and beat him with it and become the new AEW International Champion. Good match. And that was this night of pro wrestling. TNA Rebellion, once again, very good pay-per-view at La Solid. Pro wrestling action, and then Collision and Rampage. And tomorrow night, more pro wrestling. AEW Dynasty on pay-per-view. I will be here once again for a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic sometime tomorrow night, possibly more early Sunday or Monday morning. Not sure what time exactly. Gonna watch Dynasty and then Tony Khan's post-media scrum press conference, and sometimes those do tend to go a little late. So right now, not sure what time. Gonna be on here for 360 Wrestling Fanatic tomorrow, so just stay tuned. In the comment section, right here on Spreaker, and we're also on YouTube. I know if you notice on the YouTube, the numbers of the episodes, they may jump, skip, because not every episode is going to be a video version on YouTube, but every episode, of course, is on Spreaker, the audio version, or wherever you listen to your podcast app, so you could hear it, and that's probably better. Don't have a face for camera, that's for sure. But we'll be back tomorrow morning for the Sunday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans, and we'll preview tomorrow night's AEW Dynasty pay-per-view. Thank you for tuning in and listening tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed all the wrestling tonight, just like I did. TNA Rebellion, Collision, Rampage, and then ready for AEW Dynasty tomorrow night. Hope you all will tune in to Good Morning Wrestling Fans, and also 360 Wrestling Fanatic tomorrow night after the Dynasty media scrum. Hopefully Tony Khan won't go too long, but definitely looking forward to the pay-per-view tomorrow night. But that's all for now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic 589. Hope everyone has a great night. Until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.